Welcome to the Food Safety Hazards Training. Food safety hazards are any biological, physical, or chemical agents that can cause illness or injury to consumers. They are broadly categorized into biological, chemical, and physical hazards, with allergens sometimes considered a separate category or a subcategory of chemical hazards. Additionally, some food manufacturers may have to consider and analyze radiological hazards when there is the potential for ingredient radiation contamination. Biological food safety hazards are living, pathogenic organisms that may be naturally present in or unintentionally introduced to food, potentially posing a risk to consumer health. These hazards can originate from various environmental sources, including air, soil, and water, as well as from the food itself. The type of food and how it is handled play a critical role in determining the potential for microbial growth and its severity. The subcategories of biological hazards include bacteria, which are single-celled microorganisms that live in a wide range of environmental conditions and foods. In food safety, the focus is on pathogenic bacteria or those with the ability to cause harm to consumers' health and well-being when present in food. Some examples include Salmonella species, E. coli, Clostridium botulinum, Listeria monocytogenes, Bacillus cereus, and Staphylococcus aureus. Viruses have a unique structure that consists of DNA or RNA sections enclosed in a protein coat. However, viruses can only replicate within the host's body, not in food, but still food plays as a transmitting medium between people infected with the virus and healthy ones. Examples include hepatitis A, norovirus, and rotavirus. Parasites are organisms that derive their nutritional needs and protection from other living organisms known as hosts. They can be transmitted from animals to humans and from human to human and can be identified as foodborne illnesses-causing organisms. Some examples include Taenia species, Entamoeba histolytica, Toxoplasma gondii, and Trichinella spirals. And prions, which refer to abnormal, pathogenic agents that are transmissible and are able to induce abnormal folding of specific normal cellular proteins called prion proteins. They are found most abundantly in the brain. One of the most common prion diseases that affect humans is Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Chemical food safety hazards are chemical compounds or substances that, when present or introduced into food, will have the potential to cause adverse health effects to the consumer. The sources of such hazards are widely varied and range from chemical hazards that are naturally occurring in food or raw materials to those that are formed during food processing and those that are added during food production or handling. Food safety chemical hazards are classified into different groups including naturally occurring chemicals, intentionally added chemicals, unintentionally added chemicals, environmental contaminants, and food processing-induced chemicals. Naturally occurring are toxins produced by plants or animals themselves and the microorganisms that might grow on food. Examples are mycotoxins, glycoalkaloids, marine toxins, and cyanogenic glycoside. Intentionally added chemicals are those added to food for a particular purpose but misused or used above the acceptable levels. Examples are pesticides and veterinary drug residues, and food additives when used above the acceptable levels. Unintentionally added chemicals are ones that might accidentally reach food during processing or handling, such as cleaning and sanitizing chemicals spilling onto food or non-food grade lubricants when introduced to foods. Environmental contaminants are those accidentally or deliberately enter the environment and pose a threat to consumers' health when introduced to food. Examples include heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, and lead, dioxins, polychlorinated biphenyls, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Processing-induced chemicals are certain food types that contain undesirable chemicals formed during processing or treatment. Some of these chemicals might have a potential harmful effect on consumers. Some examples are acrylamide, furan, and ethyl carbamate. A physical hazard is any extraneous object or foreign matter which, when introduced to food, may cause illness or injury to a person consuming the product. Although these materials are not toxic in most cases, they can cause different kinds of harm to the consumer, which can include lacerations or perforations of the gastrointestinal tract, tooth damage, wounds, or choking hazards. Examples include personnel introduce materials like fingernail polish. glass fragments, hair, metal from machines, parts and shavings, stones, jewelry, matchsticks and toothpicks, bone fragments and feathers, buttons, strings and jute fibers, and dirt. Allergens can cause a reaction, which is an abnormal immune response in sensitive segments of people against particular proteins, which are always accompanied by the production of antibodies. Symptoms of food allergies range from mild ones like itching and hives to severe or fatal ones like anaphylactic shock and death. Different countries have identified various groups of allergens containing foods responsible for most allergy cases and set up lists for foods considered to be big allergens. The 9 main allergens are foods that include milk, eggs, fish, crustacean shellfish, tree nuts, peanuts, wheat, soybeans, and sesame. Other recognized allergens include celery, lupins, mollusks, mustard, and sulfur dioxide and sulfites. The sources of hazard introduction into the food manufacturing process generally can fall into 4 categories: ingredient, process, facility, and people-induced hazards. Ingredient-related hazards are those that arise from contamination of raw materials and other ingredients that are included in the food formulation. Process-related hazards are caused by poor or ineffective process controls, from the receiving process to the storage, dispatch, and distribution of the end product. Facility-related hazards may result from poor sanitation practices, for example, inadequate cleaning and disinfection of the buildings, poor maintenance methods, poor plant and equipment design, and poor pest control practices. People-related hazards are caused by individuals who are infected with a foodborne illness. They either present no signs of disease who are shedding the hazard, or those who are actively ill. It can also be related to unhygienic or improper behaviors or practices. Food manufacturers can reduce the risk of food safety hazards through the implementation of prevention programs and methodologies. They include utilization of personal hygiene practices like hand washing and other good manufacturing practices, cross-contamination prevention through proper storage, handling, and manufacturing processes, cooking products to safe temperatures as a kill step for biological hazards, refrigeration of perishable foods, proper storage to reduce contamination, adulteration, and decomposition of raw ingredients and sellable products. Using food safety plans to assess and mitigate the risks along the manufacturing workflow from raw ingredient receipt through the shipping of finished products. Applying supplier verification programs to ensure vendors meet food safety standards. Employing sanitation programs to ensure clean work surfaces, equipment, utensils, and general facility conditions. And implementing audits to verify compliance with food safety standards. We hope you found this training valuable. Please click the subscribe button to be alerted to more food sure training offerings.